Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother.
Hello all for the no one's here because it's Dynamite night, but and we are starting a little early, so we will get started, I guess. How are you guys, by the way? Everyone good?
I'm awesome. I'm burnt out from work, but I'm awesome.
I will be that next week.
Ooh.
Next week I will die Sunday. But I guess we should get started. We do have a lot to talk about. I guess we start with the biggest news, which is the AEW TV deal finally done, at least the majority of it. $185-ish million a year for 3 years. Fourth option for undisclosed amount, but Dave Meltzer did say it was for a lot more for that fourth year option. So we'll go there. Everything will stream live on Max. That includes like the people on the West Coast can watch the show live. The pay-per-views are going to Max. They'll be discounted. You still have to pay for them. We don't know what they will be. I would think a lot of people have debated this. I bet they're the same price of. How much are they on Triller?
50. Oh, you talking about if you VPN on Triller?
Yeah.
20.
I bet that's the price. What
is the well, I don't want to cut you off, but what do you think is do you think you could have the entry level subscription to Max in order to watch AEW, in order to order the AEW pay-per-view?
Yeah, I would imagine that'll be
so just like the $10 package.
I mean,
will get you.
Ultimately, that's what they want everyone to go to anyways, so that people are watching the ads. So even on like Max, I mean, that's what they want. So
right.
And I do like the way they do ads more than like everyone else does ads. So for the most part, at least for the good stuff. So what did I leave out? I guess that's it. And no Rampage. Rampage got done, but I think everyone kind of figured that would be the case at some point. So it's for a lot more money for less hours of content. Theoretically, Tony got his what he wanted for the pay-per-views. And they are solvent in what I think Dave Meltzer said $65 million a year now, right? That they'll be pulling a profit.
Until they start spending more money, but
yeah. That doesn't include like you figure next year they're gonna start getting probably some international money. Not a lot, but
another show potentially on deck.
Yeah. You got another show, then you still have whatever the other show, possibly Fox.
That's what I'm referring to. Yeah. The
possibly Fox. I don't expect that to be a massive amount of money, but it'll probably be another good little chunk of money.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe it'll be a massive amount. But what do you guys think? What are you guys'
Well,
One
would hope that this would end all.
Hell no! Are you kidding me?
This is what I was waiting on.
You don't even finish what you're going to say. But go ahead. I want to hear it. But go ahead. I'm with you, Chase. You hope, but go ahead.
One would hope that this would end all, since we now have two wrestling companies where attendance and stuff doesn't matter because they're getting paid insane amounts of money for a TV show. But it won't. People still going to be like, ooh, look at the empty side of the building. Ooh. But it doesn't matter now.
But that's still important, though. It's not like that's not important. It's just not going to be a killer to the bottom line of this company going forward. But it's still something they need to actually address for sure.
I think that's the most important thing they need to address. If the product feels hot and people are going to the shows, the ratings will fix themselves, man. It happens every time. You want to have a product that people, feel like they have to go out of their way to see, and if it feels hot, then people will watch. But I find it funny that people always bring up AEW's ratings, AEW's attendance, AEW's this, and this, right? If we did the same study with WWE year over year, if we did this even month over month sometimes, it would be ridiculous, right? Like, wouldn't it be a ridiculous thing to do? Because they're still making so much money. They're still very profitable. They're still very popular. They still have all this ad revenue. They're still the WWE. So it'd be stupid to do this, right? Well, we can really do the same thing year over year for that same company. Think about what the WWE, what kind of ratings they were pulling in 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Compared to now, it's like a fraction of the audience. Could you imagine doing that with the WWE? That's how dumb a lot of you sound. Really, that's how stupid a lot of you sound. They're popping champagne doing 1.7s when they used to do, like 5 years ago, 2.5s and 3s. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? But nobody brings that up. Meanwhile, we bring up a 5-year-old company that, I'm not gonna lie, isn't hot as they were. I have my issues with AEW. Y'all know I come on here and I voice them all the time. But the company's only 5 years old. It's very weird, man. And then they have been given more money by a network than a company like, let's say, WCW was. I don't care about inflation. Don't bring it up. But a company like WCW was given. You know what I mean? But people still are trying to come up with odd ways to conjure up why this place is a failure. I don't get it, man.
Because it has to fail. It has to fail in their eyes. That's why, because they have that Monday Night War concept. They've never understood like how this company was set up. Like, you try to explain to people, hey, this wasn't a traditional like startup business. This was literally a startup, like a modern startup where the money's on the back end. And you spend a lot of money at the front and you get everything on the back end. On top of that, like, even if, like, I'll throw this out there because I'm sure we're going to hear this of, well, they're still not really profitable because they have all those losses for the first 5 years. Okay, let's say, like, I think Brandon Thurston was the one that threw this out. I think he said they were losing $50 million a year or something like that. Do you realize to Tony Khan that would be like,
that's a shopping spree? That's going to the mall.
That's not even that. It's less than that.
It's like a dinner.
It's like it's getting your gas filled up for some people. I mean, it's
nothing, man.
It's nothing.
The Khans have billions, not billion. They have billions and billions. $50 million is them going out to the club one night. It's nothing to these people.
You really need to go on like YouTube and like Google like million versus billion, just so you can see the actual difference.
Just the difference, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's because that's people don't think like that though. They don't think of that in that term. So he could eat that without ever like bothering him at all.
And my other thing is, even if they go into perpetuity losing money, like, just let's say this deal never happens, right? Let's say they get a deal and it's the same as the current deal, right? And they just go on losing money. You know how long it would take for this company, for them to go like fucking broke, putting this product out here? It would take decades. It would take so long. Because this is how rich these people are. And do you think their billions are just going to stop where they are? No, they're going to keep making money in other avenues. These motherfuckers own the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's just one of the, I'm not going to get, that's just one of the things
shittiest NFL team will always make money.
You know what I mean?
The shittiest team will always make money.
And imagine if they sold it. They're going to sell it for
and
way more than they paid for it.
Right.
To you people, if they really are losing, what does it matter? Right. Do you care? Do you
to anybody, even if you're a fan of the company? Like, for me, I don't care about what Tony Khan loses. I do not care. He's gonna be okay. He's a billionaire. I don't care at the end of the day. It's one good product, honestly.
Doesn't affect you at all. The bottom line is that the thing that you grew up watching, oh yeah, time to be mean to y'all. The thing that y'all grew up watching that now is deemed not cool because it's not, but by the nerds, the nerd, because like they call us nerds all day, right? But we're the ones with the actual street cred because these motherfuckers always got their sword and shield up whenever somebody criticizes this company, and we're gonna talk about it even more when we get to Punk and Drew, by the way, because I got something I want to read to y'all. But these motherfuckers, they always got their sword and shield up when we criticize them, but we're the fucking nerds, right? We're the nerds, but they're the subconscious ones. You know what I mean? You know why? Because the people that are cool always care about what the nerds think. It's just that simple. How many people y'all know love anime now? We've been ahead of the curve on that, right? All of the geeks been ahead of the curve on that. Y'all all love Dragon Ball now. Y'all like My Hero Academia. Y'all like Naruto. But motherfuckers like me and Josh, who've been nerds for the longest, been telling y'all, hey, anime is cool. Because the nerds always ahead of the curve. And y'all always looking for fucking validation from people like us. You know what I mean? Like you got athletes who I don't care about what these statistics say because only nerds follow them, but yet they cite them when they need to bring them up in an argument. You get what I'm saying? And now these cool WWE fans see that niggas like me don't like it, so now all of a sudden you're sensitive. That's what's going on, John. That's what's happening. That's why it's an attack on AEW. It was never about a fucking alternative. You don't care about the business they do. You don't care. All you care about is that you won already, that your company is number one, and they're considered cool by the masses. Well, guess what, motherfucker? It's pro wrestling. Pro wrestling will never be considered cool by the masses ever again. And there was a documentary that came out a few weeks ago that we're going to talk about that sums up why it'll never be cool again. Y'all go ahead.
I want to talk about the Max deal real quick. We got enough attention right there. No, it's a really good deal. I'm really excited about.
Everyone just died. Oh, Brandon.
No, you're here.
Okay.
Did I die?
You're here.
Am I okay?
You're good.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
Okay. I'm excited the fact that it's going to be simulcast. It gives the people the ability who don't have TBS TNT to be able to watch the show. Hopefully, there's some type of promotion on like the front splash page or something that people can be able to go back and watch. Do we have any idea if the archives are going to be up on there?
I don't think so. It sounds like it's just going to be everything going forward, but we'll see. I mean, some of the stuff is on TBS and the TNT app. So, and it's,
just like the couple last months. But I'm talking about somebody who wants to go back and watch
Dynamite
number one.
They have not said, so we do not know.
I don't think so, Brandon. I wish, but I don't think so.
I mean, hopefully so.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, but hopefully so. But I'm also excited to see what type of content is going to come from here. I think AEW documentaries are long overdue. So I think we need to start having some documentaries being produced by this company to be able to show to other people. So I'm excited to see.
They want to do one on All In. I know they've wanted to do one on All In for
like the original show or like
the original show.
Gotcha. Chase, what's wrong? Are you thinking about Joey Ryan immediately, or
yeah?
How's your first thought go to Joey Ryan on that show?
Because they had freaking dick druids. I was there. There was 20 dick druids.
They don't have to talk about that. They can go.
And they took Hangman Adam Page away. Although on the Blu-ray they released, it just cuts to black the second Hangman wins.
That's hilarious.
You would again, like Chase said, you would hope this stops the dumb conversations, but it's not. It's only going to ramp up even more. And
Eric Bischoff, who actually believed Eric fucking.
He didn't believe it. He didn't believe it. He didn't believe it.
You know what I mean?
He knew what he was doing.
He's just being.
He's talking to the people who do believe it,
right?
Who want to believe it. Makes sense, man. I hate it, but it makes sense.
Makes no sense. It makes
sense. I mean, it makes sense on why he's doing. It makes sense on why he's doing it.
How old is Eric Bischoff?
60-something, gotta be.
My nigga, you were. I sell Medicare, sir. Do you want a plan for me? Because what the fuck? Like, you're that old, sir. You're too old to be doing this shit. Worry about your vision.
He's 69.
Yeah, hell, shit. It's annual enrollment time, baby. Give me a call. Like, you know what I'm saying? This motherfucker's old. You're too old for this, brother. Come on.
I'm surprised they didn't announce third hour for Dynamite, but maybe that is coming. Who knows? We don't know if all the details about that thing. But
what about ROH? What's happening?
They have not said anything about ROH.
I feel like he's going to sunset ROH. The fact that there's no deal, like why would you keep?
Right.
I mean, I get it, like keep content, but like if no one's buying the content, is anyone really watching Honor Club like that?
Right.
Besides LV,
that would
you
make
know.
me sad, man.
Yeah,
That would make
but-
me sad.
But you know what? I mean,
He tried.
Honestly, once AEW started, there was no need for ROH. I know people don't like hearing that, but that is the truth. As soon as it started, that was
There
that-
could have been, Josh. There could have been.
It could have been.
man.
Why
But-
can't you just treat it like a super indie? Just do like one big show a month and just bring in independent talent and just
That's
run it
all I
like that.
wanted.
Why does it have to be a TV show?
That's
A
all I
weekly
wanted.
I would
show.
like
man.
that too, but we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see.
I got to see FTR and Briscoes in that crazy ass dog collar match live, so I'll have that forever.
Especially when there are aspects of that TV show that I really, really, really hate. There are a lot of times I'm watching that show and I'm like, this is that other show that a lot of motherfuckers don't want to face, just has better wrestling and slightly better promos. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times I'm watching this show, I'm like, bro, I don't like this at all. ROH could have been what I come on here and complain about every week, and that would have been enough for me. There's an audience for that. There's an audience for that. You know what? You know who the audience is for that? The entire audience that's left the TV show would want to see, you know what I'm saying, something like that on ROH. The fans that don't go to the fucking, you know what I'm saying, weekly TV.
You would need stars. That would be the.
That's
would be
fine.
fun.
Just take a quarter.
And maybe we are, because you've got that Briscoe and Jericho match. And if Jericho wins, to me that is a tip off that they are getting something. So
They did that before.
I know, but they thought they were getting something before.
Stand, bro.
So, but anyways,
I would much rather focus on this
potential
potential Fox show that they have for AEW,
Well, yes,
which would be
I
insane if it happens versus a ROH.
that's going to be the most insane. Like the discourse just from if that happens, I'm just going to have to like not.
It's going to be the worst.
Be online. It's
I'm
going to
gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fucking fun. You hear me? what I wanted to do, but I can't find them now. Shout out to the homie Rich Latta. What I wanted to do was bring, because that's what I was doing on the show when I was scrolling through my phone. I wanted to bring up because he bookmarked all these tweets of people saying they're not getting a deal. They're not getting and what I was gonna do is just kind of read some of the best ones, man. Oh man. Oh, you people look dumb. You people look stupid, man. You all look stupid.
But to me, if it gets on Fox, it can't be Collision. It's got to be
Oh
Dynamite.
no. It'll be. I mean, we don't know like what it's going to be, because it'll probably be, I would think, a Thursday show. But we'll see.
I don't. Oh god, not a Tuesday show. I do not want to go back to NXT.
Nobody.
AEW discourse.
I don't think anyone wants that. I don't think anyone wants that.
What about AEW TNA discourse? You ain't ready for that?
Who cares?
What
serious.
discourse?
Let's be serious.
What discourse? oh,
TNA's
yeah.
weaponized. I might get it by for glory, but it's weaponized against.
Yeah. But by the way, the actual number 2. Remember those conversations?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How many of y'all still care about this show? None. Okay, just like
I mean, they're doing better attendance. The ratings are slightly better.
I'll get mine for glory. Check it out.
So, you know,
look, and I don't want to be mean because I'm not one of those people that actively hated Impact, because there were times like, you know, over the past couple of years where I've liked some of the stuff they've done, but I got tired of them being involved in these discussions, man. Just for y'all, you know, fucking because y'all not actually watching that show. It's really
right
fucking
back.
sick, man. It's like it's really sick. You know what I mean? You use this company who's just literally trying to, you know, do their best, cultivate their fan base, whether you like the show or not. Just involve them in this discussion because you hate AEW. Yeah, you call us the losers, really? Come on, man. Come on.
They're gonna continue to do that though, unfortunately. But
it's
once
so
who are the guys? What's their name? He's main eventing the pay-per-view. NXT, he's on. Yeah, Joe Hendry and
he's already trained at the Performance Center, so that's kind of
and Homegirl. I don't know. I can't think of none of these names.
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace. And then they'll probably get the Hardys back or something like that. Then at that point, are they going to really need TNA? Again, I think TNA is a pawn just to show that WWE's not a monopoly like the courts are trying to claim. You know what I mean? They don't want that whole UFC thing come back where they're just like a monopoly on the pro wrestling industry. So hey, we're working with TNA and doing business with them.
You send AJ Styles to Japan and go, see, look at us. We're cool. We're inclusive. Ah, yeah. You fucking have Horacio Gawa start Marigold when you know every gaijin that appears in Marigold will end up on NXT. And a lot of those Joshi wrestlers will also end up on NXT. Like the whole idea is to strengthen them. That's the whole point of this. But you know, bring up how Tony Khan doesn't let New Japan have anything. Bring that up. Bring up how, because you don't watch it. Bring up how he's oppressive to CMLL, even though that's not fucking true. Anybody that's seen it knows that's not true. You bring that up. Yeah. But don't bring up the fact that a whole company was created to be a feeder system to the WWE. Period. That's why Marigold exists, to be a feeder system to the WWE, because you build the company, you start the company, and you build it around Julia, and she's having terrible matches where Rock, whatever that girl name is, used to be Roxy. on CW now. Now she's having terrible matches on the CW. That's what that company was. That's what that company was for. Shit like that. Bozilla, NXT bound. Utami, NXT bound. That's what it's for. Fuck Triple H, man. Fuck Triple H.
I agree. You want to talk about this pay-per-view real quick before we get off AEW?
Let's talk about the Vince doc first. Then we can talk about the pay-per-view.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. I'm mad tonight. Fired up tonight. If y'all can't tell.
Marquis, did you actually watch it?
The Vince documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen it.
Okay.
And
So
I
just
watched
bring
it.
Just bring it and didn't watch it. All right.
What did I miss out on anything by skipping that?
Only thing.
Anything. What did I miss out on that I don't know
out
about?
on zero. Well, this is to me. This sums it up because
Almost
I
made my
watched
girl
it.
watch it. Thank God.
I was bored with it. It's very good. It is a very good documentary that does not delve deep enough into a lot of the stuff. It's a lot of surface level type of things. It's literally what Bill Simmons said.
It's just a history of WWE documentary, basically.
Yeah, it is.
Not even it's not. It's.
I don't even think it's a great one, honestly. I don't think it's a great one.
Like I think.
How many have we seen? We've seen so many.
It's better than anything that's on A&E, like any of those. But those are all trash. And I would say there's like 3 or 4 of the WWE like documentaries that are probably as good or better. So there is that. But my wife put it really well because she got to about the 4th episode and was kind of like she goes, I didn't know about all of this stuff. And she went, but she remembered, she goes, I thought you said this was coming out like earlier. And I said, oh, it was going to come out earlier. And then all of the Vince scandal stuff happened and they had to go back and fix it because of that. And her response was, what was in this doc if they had to go back and fix it? Because they still really didn't talk about any of this stuff, right? Now, that's before she got to the last episode, and the last episode has a lot of it in it. But it was even the stuff that they kind of talked about, it wasn't like super in-depth. And I get that you don't want to get too into the weeds, but one of the criticisms I've seen from people who would be casual fans or people just kind of dropping in is that there was a lot of this stuff that they talked about that they felt like they needed to talk a little bit more in depth about. The Snuka stuff, like
they didn't touch it.
They glossed right over that.
They just like they're like, oh, this happened, and then the Ring Boy stuff, kind of the same thing. Oh, this happened. You just get that great Tony Atlas quote, but that's about all you get from it.
I don't think he liked his daddy.
Right. But yeah, like it's nothing for, and they said that before.
You forgot about the best line to me in the whole thing when they talk about the first WrestleMania and Vince McMahon confirms what me and you and so many other people have been saying. To me, it almost made this whole thing worth it, where he goes, I don't know if it was good for pro wrestling, but it was good for my company. And when he said that, I wanted to fucking take that clip and just every time someone says Vince McMahon saved pro wrestling, I just want to play that fucking clip.
About that show,
because you got Vince himself saying,
the thing about that show, it was very much like a really super house show. Really, like WrestleMania 2 is more of what we think of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1 was just like a really big house show. I think that's something that kind of gets lost. I think WrestleMania 2, as bad as WrestleMania 2 is more of what we think of WrestleMania 2, and then you got WrestleMania 3, and then it's just kind of all over.
Yeah,
but there's all of that. And it was
weird because when they were talking about the history of the WWE stuff, they didn't even like go in depth with it because they talk about the Montreal Screwjob, but they didn't bring up all the angles that pretty much fed into the Montreal.
Not only that, but they also didn't like. They went into it a little, like that was one thing that I felt like they went a little bit more into, but it was kind of like they went into the stuff that theoretically made Vince look better, right? Because that whole thing, the way they went into it, because they went really into it, was kind of like, made Brett look a little bit more of a whiny baby.
Yeah, like he was whining.
Right. Yeah. Even though they did admit that, there was no way for him to show up on TV with the championship. There was no way for, there was all of these things. And that he was willing to drop the belt, like literally the next night he was willing to drop the belt. And drop it to Shawn on top of it. It wasn't like, but the way that they edited and everything, it was like I said, it's really good. I really feel like it would be interesting to see what that original cut looked like versus what we got looked like. Because I think that would say a lot more about this documentary. Because you could see there were parts where they were trying to like lift Vince McMahon up a lot. And there was still a lot of that in the documentary. My one biggest complaint about was there was way too much like history of WWE. And a lot less of like the history of
Eric and them talking about Nitro and all that. I was like, bro, what does this have to do?
Yeah, why would this? I mean, you can talk about, like, if you're going to talk about that, you talk about the fact that Vince was out of touch. Vince was, WWE was literally on death's door. And you can, and they from there say, you do it like he adapted. And not how they told the story of, we eventually, blah, blah. It, the same Monday Night War story we've always gotten. So,
and I love Steve Austin, man, but I didn't need to see the history of Austin 316.
Right.
Also, they didn't even tell it right because they were like, he cut that promo and then he was a superstar.
Yeah, no.
Also, I saw that he denied CTE in the documentary as well.
Yes, he said he doesn't believe in CTE, which is like saying,
one of these numbers.
Like saying, I don't believe in hurricanes.
Shout out to everybody in Florida. Y'all be
safe. Yeah, Florida and because it's taking the same path as the last one, so it's probably going to be Florida and.
Oh no, it's south of us. It's not going to affect us, so
that's good. But anyways, Cat 5, Jesus Christ, like people, you don't understand. Cat 5 is bad. Cat 5 is bad. If you don't understand, I don't mean to laugh about it, but it's really bad. Anyways, yeah, that's my like. I wish I could get my wife down here. She would never do it, but her talking about it, I thought was a lot more.
It doesn't seem like this documentary was for anybody. Like, it doesn't seem like it was for a casual viewer because you're really just talking about the history of the company. And then it doesn't seem like it's for a wrestling fan because you've seen all this stuff already.
Too, that like watches a lot of documentaries, right?
Gotcha.
And so her to like to say a lot of the stuff that she said, like that they weren't going into stuff, like that what she saw is like the interesting stuff they just kind of skimmed over, or the stuff that she was like, you never told me this. I wish they would have like talked more about this or this. She thought the Shane McMahon stuff came off uber, like, because she literally saw the Shane McMahon stuff.
That was my lady's favorite episode. She was like,
but she came in and she was like, that was really kind of cool, but it seemed very fake. And I was like, there's probably a lot of fakeness to it, like because that's a complicated relationship, which I said, I can't even see them wanting to touch with the doc, because then you have to get into the Steph and Triple H, like really get into that and how all that went down.
No mention of China,
I mean, like you can't. So that's stuff that they're not even going to touch. So I kind of get that. But yeah, she had lots of like questions for me of why like they did the things that they did, which is really weird, because like she'll watch the A&E docs and she really likes the A&E docs, but a lot of that, and I know this, is a lot of like nostalgia stuff, because those docs play a lot on nostalgia, and she's like, put it in my veins when it comes to nostalgia. So she really likes that, but watching this, she was very like about like she thought it was good, but she just felt like it could be better, and she felt like there was a lot more information like that they talked about, like just like I would imagine there's a lot of people watching it like me, first time they finding out about this, and then you don't even like really talk about it. So yeah, you have any thoughts, Chase?
This is extremely well produced.
Yeah.
Like everything WWE does.
No, this is.
I'm sorry. That's true.
This is even better than that. This is.
Yeah, this is. I wish they had gone into reality instead of the WWE version of Vince. Like Vince telling the story of how he got control of the company was ridiculous. It's that same fake version again. Like,
and the thing is about that is, I always find that really weird, because I think if you tell like the real story of like how things went down when it comes to like Vince fighting for stuff, and Vince, even if you're like, that's him just doing stuff business ways, I think it makes for a better story. And I think it actually makes him look a little better, because it makes it look like he actually is this really smart businessman that a lot of people don't take seriously. You know what I mean? I mean, it's that I think that's a bigger than him being all like, oh, this is what happened. I think if you get into the dirty-handed business stuff, I think it actually makes him look better in a business perspective. So it's always bugged me.
But yeah, it was a lot of WWE version of events instead of. I mean, you had Dave Meltzer and Dave Shoemaker correcting them when possible, but they didn't have him, interjecting every single time.
Yeah, you would have to have them be like, like MST 3000, like they're just on the screen all the time. Like,
Nice.
Dave came off really good on this.
That's what I heard.
He came off like,
especially because they interviewed him before the shoe fell for Vince, and he sounded like a prophet.
That's how he does a lot of stuff.
So, speaking of profits, WrestleDream, how much do you think that's going to make?
Damn, we're going back and forth. We're going back to AEW.
We don't even have a whole card yet, though.
What's the house look like? You look that up. I'll look it up.
6,400.
Oh, you guys, 64. That's not bad. Could be better. Could be better for sure, but that's not bad.
It was 6,600 last year, so you would think by Saturday it might get higher.
I mean, there's stuff on the show that I think will be great, but I think
this is a show I'm not hyped about, but like
this build has not been good. We've talked about this forever. AEW's got to do a better job of like really focusing on where they're going and not a lot of this stuff feeling like it's came out of nowhere, even though you can tell some of the stuff was planned, but it still comes off as just coming out of nowhere, and there's no build to it.
To me, I really hope the TV deal kills the hot shotting that's been happening all year, because it's like, okay, you got your money, please focus now. Please quit throwing shit against the wall. Please focus on what we're doing here. I would hope that
or just like you can book week to week as far as like, how can I say this? You can book week to week as far as, hey, we know where we're going, but we're gonna maybe like change things up as we see fit as we're going along. But you can't like, okay, we don't even really understand where we're going. We're just gonna go wherever, I don't know.
I think there's been some legitimate criticism on Twitter in the last day or so where people were bringing like, hey, remember the days when they used to announce stuff for Dynamite, like the entire card, like before Dynamite is over, or be like, hey, in 2 weeks, you're getting this match, in 3 weeks. I'm not saying they don't, because they just recently did. I can't think of the match, but they have promoted some stuff, but it's not nearly like what they did before in the past to make sure that you would get excited for, and make sure people would show up for these shows. You know, oh, I can be able to watch this in 3 weeks versus kind of telling us like the day of or a couple of days.
Dynamite ends, you should know what half the card is when Dynamite ends, and you should know what the full card for Rampage is and what most of the card for Collision is, and then by the time Collision ends, you should know what the full card for Dynamite should be. Like if you got the 3 shows, I think that's and we don't even get that. We get like the full show the day of. And I understand the thought of, oh, well, you know, that's kind of how, UFC has shown that really the promotion is like in the last like 48 hours. Fuck that. It needs to be like, you did better when you showed that, hey, we're thinking ahead, at least a week ahead, instead of like a couple of days ahead. So I think that's a big part of it.
But like I said, hopefully with this, like we had mentioned the last time, like what's going to be Tony Khan's next project? What's he going to be focusing on? Hopefully it's being like Chase said, like actually drawing some stuff out to be able to promote the stuff, a couple weeks in advance to get people excited to not only watch, but people excited to kind of go to the show as well.
Because I don't think we talked about it on here that there's definitely a pattern to where AEW fans are willing to wait until those tickets drop.
Oh yeah, of course.
As well. So I think that if just a week in advance, you get people excited, you're going to have more of those people willing to be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to go buy tickets for this show, instead of just the novelty of, hey, AEW is coming to town, which is not enough for sure. So, and I think local promotion, I think they do need to do a better job of saying, hey, this is who's going to be here, who we have planned that are going to be there, going forward. So there's
you run the card down real quick.
You got it, or do I need to get it?
Jason ain't pulled up. He don't even care no more. I'll say this about the main event, about the title match, is that, man, I feel a little bad because you kind of criticize the fans of Hunter when they watch the shows and they watch the pay-per-views, where you're not really looking forward to the match. You're just kind of looking forward to like the next beat of the storyline. Even though I will pretty sure I will enjoy watching Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, I'm really just looking forward to seeing what's next as far as the storyline. Like, where is this whole group going to, where Danielson's going to be involved in, what's going to be with Wheeler Yuta. Like, I'm way more excited to see what the storyline and everything is going to be.
I had a bit of emergency. What I missed.
You missed nothing. You missed nothing. Yeah. But I'm really excited. I hate to say that because, again, we criticize the WWE fans about that, but I'm way more excited to see what's going to happen next with that story versus the match itself. Again, I'm pretty sure the match is going to be awesome, but I want to see
we'll see how they handle it, is how I would say. I'm really interested in the Wheeler Yuta stuff, but I have no faith that they're going to do anything, even though this would be the time to do it. I mean, I almost think they should have announced, the Moxley and Danielson match, like this match. I think Well, maybe not. I don't know, because I don't know what you would do. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I would almost have done Danielson and Moxley tonight, and then do something different on WrestleDream. But that's just me, because I think it is going to be very storyline heavy, but we'll see how they handle it. So at least the main event, and then we've got, let's see what else we got. We got the Young Bucks versus Private Party, which, I mean, they've built up okay, but that's definitely not the match.
People really want Private Party to win the tag team titles. Like,
No,
I get the Young Bucks. What are we doing, y'all?
Like, my thing is why is it Private Party when you've got the grizzled young vets and you could have just used them? You could have just used them.
Outrunners. You got the Outrunners.
And you got the Outrunners
right now.
Yeah, and they're hot. Like,
I'm even scared to give them a title shot. I mean, obviously they're not going to win, but like, man, you can only go so far with these mean teams and these mean wrestlers, bro. And that's what they are right now, honestly. But you can give them a title shot on TV, not on pay-per-view, man. At least that's just for me. That's how.
I think that's a good.
I'm gonna be relatively quiet during this review because I don't give a fuck about this show. Like, nothing on here at all, except Mox and Danielson. Obviously,
well, that's what we were talking about. And then you've got this stupid fucking three-way of Will Ospreay.
Oh, not even three-way. I saw so many WWE speak from AEW people. Triple threat. Like, shut the fuck up, triple threat, man.
Don't.
That hurt my heart. Triple threat. But yes, this is a three-way. Yeah. What you gotta say, Marquine? You about to source up?
Trying to talk about
what
how
I've
long
been
the $5
told
footlong
is that what I've been
so
told
random.
is that they want to do they want to do this so they don't have to pin Will Ospreay. And
who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? If
he's already been pinned just a couple months ago.
Go back and look at what you were doing when you were hot, and you were pinning people. You were doing
motherfuckers win.
Hour-long draws, and everyone was fine with it because the matches were awesome, so no one cared.
Swerve just beat him, and he's been fine.
People win and people lose. That's how it goes. What is the harm? You want to push Takeshita, right? Would you just have him beat Will Ospreay? Or you could have just did what you teased for 2 months, which is Takeshita versus Okada, because Okada fucking needs it. Because Okada I talk all this shit about Mercedes Moné, and she deserves it.
It's Okada. It's Okada the one that you need to get on.
But it's been fucking Okada. He is a joke now. This is Kazuchika Okada. Like, to the fans, it's a miracle that they still
gets pops. He still gets pops.
It's a fucking miracle because their booking has ruined the Rainmaker, and this would have been it. And people are saying, "Oh, maybe they didn't want Takeshita to lose because he has to lose." Okay, then give them a series. Have Takeshita come up short. He loses nothing, losing to a dominant champion. And you guys are thinking too much about it. It's AEW. Motherfuckers win and lose. If they have a great match, Takeshita comes up short and then goes into the Continental Classic, wins the tournament by beating Okada. Is that not better? Is that not better? There's no need. There is no need to do this three-way. There's no logical excuse. In the book, I don't care what company it is. I obviously love Takeshita. I obviously love Will Ospreay. I obviously love Ricochet. I'm sure the match will be good, but this is just lazy WWE bullshit. And I don't care if I like the guys or not. I don't care what company it's in. This is not what I want from this company.
There needs to be a rule in AEW that, not that you don't do three ways, triple threats, whatever, but they cannot be for titles. That needs to be the rule. That needs to be the rule.
I agree.
You can do them and for like number one contenders, like all.
It's a fatal 4-way tonight for a number one contendership.
That's situations and everything. But,
Another thing, if you're gonna do this 3-way, okay, fine. I give you 3-way. Fine, you want to do it? Make it 3-way dance style. Have somebody get eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
They come out to that's something different. That's something those other people don't do. Just do that.
But then I think they get into the then it makes no sense because both of the challengers are going to want to try to pin the champion.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That's a story, and that's a story where the champion has to overcome that, and then you go to the.
I was there live the night Taz lost the ECW World Title. I was there. Masato Tanaka, Mike Awesome, jumped on him and pinned him because he looked so dominant, killing everyone. And everybody in that building, it was some random white dude I never met in my life. He looked at me. He was like, what the fuck is about to happen? Like, we all were like, oh, my God. Because that is a good story that isn't told very often. Just that simple. You can do it.
And you can still have, like, you can do your, you can do that story and then have the champion do a quick roll-up and get out of it because he just did a quick roll-up. And then you have your one-on-one match with whoever, right? I agree. Like, to me, this is one of the WWE tropes that they just take and run with are so bad. When you don't have to do them, you can do a 3-way dance. You can do like what I just said. I think everyone will be fine with it. Just don't do certain things as title matches. Don't do 3-ways as title matches. Don't do 4-ways as title matches. Try to not do a ladder match every time you feel like you want to do a ladder match. Keep the ladder matches special. Right? Keep them special and make it hey, only do any type of gimmick match when the story, demands that you do this type of gimmick match. That's what it should be. And if you want to do a gimmick match, then tell a story that leads to that gimmick match because then the gimmick match makes more sense. Everything works out. We'll get to the Punk match in a little bit, but it's one thing that they did do very well with that match, which I would imagine Punk probably had something to do with.
Man, all that said, this match should be dope.
It should be. It'll probably be.
Look
like
at the guys in it, of course.
I mean, I think that I
feel the complaints for this. Like,
my thing is now I look at AEW as a match promotion, and I really wanted to look at it as something I can get invested into, the characters, the stories, all that stuff. But now I literally just come in and just pluck great matches. And I wanted so much more for this place. It's
funny that when they weren't that's what everyone's criticism.
That's when they were better. That's when they were at their hottest.
But that was the criticisms. Oh, it's just matches. And people wouldn't look past the fact of, yes, they're matches, but there's stories that lead to these matches, and it all kind of makes sense.
It's still stories, but the stories aren't sticking. Is the main thing. There's a lot of stories that aren't sticking.
It's like the stories are very like that criticism is valid now, but because we've heard that criticism since the start of AEW, it sounds like just the same criticism when it's a valid criticism now. It's why when you criticize something, you need to be really careful about how you criticize. This goes for anything. Because if you criticize it the wrong way, then it doesn't come off well. Right now, this is a valid criticism of AEW that the stories aren't sticking, that we're not getting stories leading up to those matches, even minor stories, even like sports-centric stories we're not getting with a lot of this stuff. That's the easy stories to tell. So
it's not saying that's like totally because you look at All In, a lot of those big matches, they did have stories that we're into. It's just like, what's the transition after that? Right. And that's when we have maybe because it's too many pay-per-views, but at this point you gotta figure it out. Like if you're getting paid for these pay-per-views and people are paying $50, you gotta figure it out.
You know how they did the Hangman and Danielson like that whole little set of matches that were all on TV. You're just not doing those. All you have to do is not do those matches on TV. You can do the same type of story and just do them on the pay-per-views. That's all you have to do. That's the only, unless you have like the July thing where you've got that big gap, which then you can put stuff on TV. But you just, instead of putting what you were putting on TV, you just put it on the pay-per-views and it will be fine. But you have to come up with stories. There's so many levels. Like we'll just keep going. We'll just
like that. That really annoyed me, bro. Because they gotta
Jack
stop doing this.
Jack Perry versus Shibata, which like
Be fine.
it'll be fine. It might be really
Not
good.
looking forward to it at all.
Might be great. Or it could just be theirs. So we'll see. Then you have Darby Allin versus Brody King. Again,
fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
They always have great matches. Should be great.
And then you have Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho. That'll be
which Jericho we getting, man?
Right.
Which guy? We're getting the guy that it delivers when you don't expect it, or are we getting the guy that Russell Mystico?
Right.
Who we getting?
And then you've got this random pre-show match, which will probably be awesome, which is Atlantis Jr. versus Brian Cage.
Whoa, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I'll be watching for that one.
That'll be.
Somewhere Conan is just like the architect. Like he's mad as hell because Brian Cage was one of his guys for the longest. So he's a good athletic base, and he'll have. Brian Cage will want to go out there and have fun because he'll be out there with like a lucha that he can throw around. I bet he thinks Tony Khan's just doing this to fuck with me, and he might be,
but still. But that's what we know. We'll probably get
Mercedes. It seems like Mercedes and
Statlander,
which is also weird. Why did they break up her and Stokely? Why did they do that?
I don't because
why?
Because Chase.
And we'll probably get what's the other match that they said we'll probably get?
Willow and Mario.
Yeah, but no.
And word on the street from a very reliable source that I won't out.
No,
seriously. I got a DM that said that last year Mariah May wanted to do this match at Stardom, but for obvious reasons, they weren't able to put it together. So I'm sure that'll probably be the match, and I'm sure those two will go out there and fucking steal the show. I'm sure about that. I'm willing. I'd bet my life on that.
And turn on your VPN and order the show for $19.99 and save some money because that's pretty much.
If you go on, like I can go on both my Roku and my Fire TV, and anytime you look up any of the wrestling stuff, magically there's always like 3 VPN things on the bottom. Like, oh, this is what other people that downloaded this app. They also did this. I'll be like, huh. Interesting. I always wonder what like people that don't know think about that, or do they find out?
Pay full price,
or do they find out? They're like, "What is this?" And then they look it up and go, "Oh, type of thing." Like I always wonder about that because I think it's funny. But anyway,
unlock your Disney Plus accounts, people. Get a VPN.
There you go. All right. So what do we got?
So Bad Blood.
Bro. All right, so are we talking about the show or just?
Let me talk about the show before y'all dive into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The pacing on these shows are crazy, bro.
It's crazy. It's horrible.
It is a UFC show at this point, and I'm used to a UFC show where you're 25 minutes, maybe a little bit less, and you got a lot of downtime before that next fight happens. But it makes sense in UFC because
better though.
I think the ads run a little bit better. They got good promos and. That's not to say that WWE doesn't do the same thing because they do, but I don't know. Like I can stomach that a lot more than I can stomach this. It's just so much downtime. These corny ass ads that you got to watch to build up to a match that's not going to be worth a damn to be able to watch. Like 2 hours and 30 minutes into the show, we're on the 4th match.
That's crazy.
That's insane, man. And I don't know. I can never get used to that at all. That's the big takeaway I have. Even though I'm sure that happens every show, but that's just too much.
I will say this: when I had the Peacock Premium or whatever it was, and you got to see you didn't see the ads, right? It was much harder to watch.
That's what I have. I have the premium. I'm like, I guess I want to watch ads, but you're sitting there watching.
Right, it's much
4.5 minute promos.
I think
of Nia Jackson Bailey.
I think it's actually better to watch it with the ads for whatever reason.
I don't know.
Just to break up the monotony of WWE.
Right.
They showed the same ads over and over and over again, though.
I mean, you watch a basketball game and see no flex Zoom
Right,
Wingstop commercial over and over. I could deal with that. Or
Yeah.
WWE show.
There's just I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it's great,
How'd they get tickets to the game?
but it's better than
old school. It's old school.
but it's better than watching it on premium, where you're watching you're watching the same video ad or the same video promo. Like by the time you get to the match, you've probably watched it 4 times, right? And it's just like,
oh, that sucks. That
Yeah.
sucks.
So all the downtime. Hunter had to come out. I'll bring this up in case we forget. Hunter had to come out again. Man, Tony
like
Khan
being
would
on
get
camera,
buried
guys.
6 feet deep if he did anything close to this. But Hunter came out again, and he talked about the Saudi show, which got booed. Good. And
I didn't
then
watch
he
that.
brought out the belt,
the
Saudi belt.
Blood
it's
money
not the
belt.
Saudi belt, it's the blood money belt.
Money belt.
Blood money belt,
Blood
sure,
money
yeah.
belt.
Yeah, it's just I was trying to figure out why they did this, but I don't know.
Like, is this just a belt they're just going to hand somebody who wins at this, or is this going to be?
It's because they couldn't come up with a storyline for this.
Is it going to be a belt that's defended like all year round? Because if it is,
No, they said it's a trophy.
it's a
Good
trophy.
Boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hunter sure does love his tournaments. Like,
Wins.
Tony Khan gets buried underneath the earth when he does tournaments, but Hunter does all his tournaments and all this stuff. And
Well, because it's on the Saudi
Even
show.
though, hold on, when's the last time TK's even done a tournament? Wait,
Has it?
I think
while,
the first thing
right?
that comes to mind is a tag
Well,
tournament, which is terrible. But
No, he did that. They did that small tournament before.
Well, you see how we're thinking.
has
All
there-
In.
has-
No,
has-
like the one of All In. No, the
like
one
you
that
see
was
this
like
shit. You see,
the one that was before All In, that led to All In. The one that was
The Owen Hart.
The Owen-
the Owen Hart one.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
That's fine. They've established that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, this is not a tournament. They're going to establish this. I guess, champion versus champion match
Mm-hmm.
where the winner's going to. All right, cool. It's not for me. Whatever.
Anyways, but to the Bad Blood, that's a good. But Punk versus
Match was fire, bro. I love this
that
match,
was
man.
that was the best. I think it was.
I think it's the best match since Mania 39, the LA one, with the 3-way match for the IC title with Sheamus and all those guys.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
probably
Rhea
I
Ripley and
was gonna
Charlotte.
say,
That's been the best
I
match.
was
in my
like,
opinion. At least
it
in
was
my
the
eyes.
best Hell in the Cell in
Decades.
forever.
a long time.
Because it was a Hell in a Cell match. It was a Hell in a Cell match.
Mhm.
It was they definitely, this was definitely the match they needed to say. We all said this. We said this when we did, was that, this match needed to be this. They did it. I guess Punk finally was, I guess they were finally like, all right, we'll let you do this one.
It worked. It did work. I thought it was awesome.
It worked.
So before I give my thoughts on this, I want to read what my old supervisor, my guy Richard, who I used to chat wrestling with, he sent me this morning. Sup, Keem? How you doing? Call me when you go on break because I want to talk about why the WWE is a bunch of pussies. Why don't they just do this? Do they think sponsors really care about blood and violence? I think sponsors care more about the angle that involved Dominic Mysterio pretending to send news to his buddies of Liv Morgan's naked body. I believe that they should focus on telling stories that involve two people hating each other and resolving it in extreme violence because the world is pretty violent. If you feel uncomfortable with your kid seeing blood, tell him don't go outside and play, and tell him not to fall because he'll probably see blood. It is okay to do this. Do less of Dom Mysterio sending nudes and do more of two guys screaming like maniacs trying to kill each other. That's my dog Richard. And I'm right with him because they should just do this, man. This is the story that's been told from the beginning. Been told for what? That these two guys hate each other. Drew McIntyre didn't want him here. Drew McIntyre's trying to ruin his life. Drew McIntyre wants to kill this man. We don't need any bracelets. We don't need any, my family. We didn't need any of that. Now, I will say this.
They had it, though.
I will say this. The the bead spot that everybody's upset about. I didn't love it, but
It fit.
I did think it fit. I did think it fit. Yeah, so it was fun. They did just enough.
It's better than them doing, thumbtacks, which we've seen 1,000 times.
But yeah, CM Punk has never been a technically sound pro wrestler. The dirty secret about the dirty secret about CM Punk is that he's very clumsy, and I would argue sometimes just outright bad. And this is even his.
He's not a natural athlete.
He's not a natural athlete.
Right.
But the one thing that CM Punk can do, if you give him a story that he can sink himself into, he will tell that story better than most people have ever told a story in the ring, period. And he was able to do that here. You could just tell by his performance, the way he was, the way his mannerisms, everything he put into this match is that this is what he wanted to do from the beginning. He hated the fucking match at SummerSlam. He hated the strap match. He hated all this shit. This is finally what he wanted to do. And let's talk about the hypocrisy real quick of these WWE fans. They love this match, and they should love this match because I've seen some of them go, this is a 5-star match. And you know what? For y'all motherfuckers that have been invested in this story, I totally understand it. But this is what we've been telling y'all, that stories like this, how they should end. See, you shit on AEW when Hangman Page and fucking Swerve Strickland trying to kill each other, but somehow this is cool. And then the argument I hear is that, well, they don't do it all the time. It's rare that WWE does this. My point is, it shouldn't be this fucking rare. Will you have stories like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for as long as they did? They should have got to do a match like this. Why didn't they get to do a match like this? The story called for it. What's some of the other feuds they had? Like, they've had a bunch of feuds like this. Why haven't other people been able to do this?
The Cody and Roman match at WrestleMania should have been.
Maybe they should have got a match like maybe they should have got a match like this. Like, come on, the eventual Rock and Cody match maybe should be like this because of everything.
It probably have to be.
Like what is so wrong with this? And y'all proved my point all along. There's nothing wrong with this because y'all ate this up. See, and y'all talked about Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page with this fucking chair shot to the head, but CM Punk hit Drew McIntyre in the head with his fucking toolbox, busted him open. Drew McIntyre did not want the referee to wipe the blood away, and y'all all said it was awesome. You know why? Because it is awesome. And we've been telling y'all this shit like this is awesome. I fucking love this match, man. I thought they told a beautiful story. I thought the end was great. Drew McIntyre bumped his ass off everywhere. If the WWE was more like this, I would watch it. And I'm not even just talking about the blood. You could just have simple stories because the roster is talented enough of two guys going, hey, I want to be the best.
Like,
we don't need all this, man. We don't need all the fucking...
How much, in a match like this, it was cool to see the blood, but what you just said, you didn't need the blood, right? You could have done everything they did, and it would have been fine. It would have been within the WWE way. I still think it would have been great. It wouldn't have been as great, but it still would have been great. But yeah, they told it they went out there and they had a Hell in a Cell match, which we haven't seen in who knows how long. So it was yeah. I was glad. I was at work when this went down, but seeing everyone praise it and then watching myself later, I was super glad because before the first match, we all thought this would be an awesome feud. We thought this would be something that we would sink our teeth into, and there you go. So
imagine if they would have got to do this in the way they wanted to the whole time.
Right. You wouldn't even
could have been an all-time feud for this company, honestly.
What were you gonna say, Brandon?
No, are you done talking about this match?
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
I mean,
Oh,
I mean, what else was on here? You had Bailey and Bailey and Nia. Yeah, you have anything to say about the match?
I didn't watch anything, but
Chase, go ahead, Chase.
Opener and the main event. That's the only, because everything else looked like it was absolutely who gives a shit.
Well, there's one of the most uniquely horrible matches of 2024 that followed right after, and it wasn't just the
These theme songs suck. Everyone's theme
they're terrible.
sucks.
They're terrible. But I was watching this show with my friend Sean, and when that Hurricane Rana spot happened, we both looked at each other and said, "What the fuck was that?" like it wasn't just that spot. It was like everything got botched. Like Bailey did a tope, Nia drops her. They try to do a freaking Samoa drop. She falls on her head. It was everything. It was everything. Like literally everything they tried to do in this match was botched. It was incredible. It was really a piece of art of how bad it was by how
But
how
you know
much
what? That
they
doesn't
fucked up.
shock me because Bailey's washed and Nia is Nia, so that doesn't shock me at all.
It's so weird that Nia does everything she does looks like she's trying not to hurt someone, but she always ends up hurting people.
She's thinking about
it's
it
very
too much.
weird. It's very
She's
weird.
thinking about it too much instead of just like she's thinking about like not trying to hurt somebody, and then it ends up being bad. So
But yeah, that match was perfectly bad, and it was uniquely horrible. And after the incredible opener, it's just like, dear God. And then and then Priest and Finn Balor was just like a really good Raw main event. It didn't feel elevated by a paper.
I mean, it became very apparent that Rhea is the one that's like carrying this feud.
For a long time, I didn't want to see Prince Balor in AEW, but I kind of want to see. Just get out of there. Just see what's going to happen, man. Because this,
look,
I don't know. You going to keep doing this forever, or
Prince Devitt, one of my all-time favorites, man. Just for
they call him Prince Balor, Prince Devitt, Prince Devitt.
For the last little bit of his career, I would love to see him do meaningful stuff.
Him and AJ, like again, at one point, I was like, I didn't like whatever they could stay there, but now I'm like, I just want to see them.
Just
man.
get out of here.
Yeah.
Even if you're not like prominently featured on AEW like every week, just get out of here. Like pop back to Japan, show up on Dynamite a couple weeks. Just away from this place. Just get away from this place, man.
Right.
Oh, it's depressing, honestly.
And then Dom being in a shark cage meant nothing.
Man, they're gonna drag this
DQ
Judgment
finish.
Day. This Judgment Day
DQ finish.
Now, here's the thing: it wasn't planned to be a DQ finish. I think we have all realized
Raquel just stinks.
Yeah, she sucks, and yeah, she messed up the timing. But man, they're gonna just keep going with this Judgment Day thing. And then that's all they got. That's all they got.
The crowd didn't remember her either because they came out. They were confused. Like she came out. They was confused. It was.
And then there was an okay tag match to finish the show. It's not great. It was super slow.
It was because it was not great. It was not great. And then we got. So this is one thing I want to.
Oh yeah, I gotta talk about. Go ahead.
So then they do an angle on social media, right?
Oh, you talking about that?
I thought you were talking about The Rock.
We got to talk about this weird crowd popping for an Uso, a singular Uso, not the Usos.
But
the
thing is
without the catchphrase.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But he'd been gone for so long, so
I don't care, Josh. It's one Uso.
I know. I get.
It is a singular Uso, sir.
Like that match.
If it was both of them, I might have popped. They might have got me to pop. One of them, just one. And then the one without the catchphrase. It was weird. People are different, man.
I guess. Anyways, no. What I was going to say was Kevin Owens turned on Cody Rhodes off, on social media, backstage, whole thing. But I mean, WWE's hot, so they can get away with this. But why wouldn't you just put that on the pay-per-view? Why wouldn't you
You know why, Josh? Because KO turns on the pay-per-view and the whole crowd will cheer. They don't want that.
I mean, that's what I said. They did it, but then
I thought it was a neat thing. I thought it was kind of neat that they did that on. I mean,
I'm not disagreeing. I think but people would, if AEW did that, people would be all like,
"Why did you put this on the TV show?"
Right? Yeah.
Why I got to do all this work to follow the show? Oh, it's cool when they do it though, but
Quick thing about Dwayne Johnson. Will he get overexposed? I guess I would say when it comes to like last year when he came back, it was after the Royal Rumble, right? I mean, he did that whole goofy thing, like who's the head of the table at like the beginning of the year, and he didn't show up again until after the Rumble. He's showing up before the Saudi show. They had the Saudi show and they got Survivor Series.
He might be on the Saudi.
But I'm saying, like, is it going to be too? I mean, outside of WWE, we've had too much Dwayne Johnson. Like, I think everyone can agree with that. He's just been too much. Is that going to be the case with here, where he's going to lose his cool factor with coming back into the company soon?
I can see him doing the Saudi show. If he does the Saudi show, we don't need to see him until the Royal Rumble. Like, not even see him. Like, they can't even like talk about him, be like, oh, is the Rock, like, not even hint that if the Rock's going to show up. Nothing until the Royal Rumble. So, but anyone got anything else to say about that?
Nah, man,
Nope.
that show ass. one match show, literally a one match show.
Yeah,
It was a good match, though.
Hell of a match though,
Yeah.
but one match show.
right.
We'll solidify them as feud of the year because of that one match, unfortunately. Even though they don't
Yeah.
count the other two matches.
Not to me, but all right.
But I mean, it's probably going to win.
I'm saying that's all I mean. As far as what the one's going to win, yeah.
Right. That's the one that's gonna win.
Martine, you wanted to talk about Trash Zone?
Oh yeah, okay. So real quick, I've been crash watching a lot of Japanese wrestling, so I'm gonna keep this kind of short.
King of Pro Wrestling, sorry.
King of Pro Wrestling looks dope. I'll get started in a second, but I just want to talk about the most unexpected, fucking phenomenal match that I watched about a week ago, and it was Yoshihashi versus David Finlay. Like, that match is incredible, like literally incredible. And
We're not going to hear any of
That's
that.
fucked up. No, man.
What
No,
are
man.
you doing?
No,
What are
man.
you doing?
That's
That's messed
blasphemy.
up, bro.
That's blasphemy.
no, but I honestly, like, real talk, Chase, you got to give up the Yoshihashi thing now. Now it's done. Like, it's officially done now. You got to stop, man.
You're like one of those people who
No.
keep saying that Will Ospreay just does flips and stuff like that.
Yeah, like,
ducks
he's
those
good
sucker
now,
kicks. That's
man.
how you sound like now right now.
Like,
He
he's
trips
now
and
good.
busts his head open.
And you know what?
Does he still have a stick?
Not all the time. Not all the time. But
Is this the destruction show you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's sitting on like 8.4 on K.
Yeah. It's 8.14.
Yeah. Like, this match was amazing, and it's so crazy that very low key, David Finlay has improved in this role so much. Like, it's almost like Gato was like, see, if I keep fucking up, it's all gonna work out. and it's starting to work out. The only thing that is left now is that somebody like Finlay. Another good example is even Yuya, Rohei Oiwa. They all need to get like big time like scalps at this point. They need to exercise a demon. Like, a good example is Oiwa is facing Shingo for the Never title, and I think he should win. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think he should win, and because his whole thing, if you follow him and know it all, is that he's a tough guy. Like Kaito Kiyomiya, who is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, his whole thing is that he embodies that ace role, the Okada type, the Muto type back in the day, guys like that. Oiwa is the tough guy, and the toughest dude in terms of tough guys in New Japan is Shingo. And I think he should beat him to kind of establish that, hey, this new guy is the new tough guy in town. You get what I'm saying? David Finlay has been teasing this Jay White match, right? And honestly, this is the match he needs, because the whole turn, everything that happened with him involved Jay White. They gotta somehow get that in the dome, and he has to beat him. See, all those guys, and he shouldn't have that belt. He should lose that belt before then. But that's what they should do. They should try and get all these guys that they've been pushing their signature win. And I think that Gato is slowly but surely kind of getting there. Because I think that the main event of Russell Dynasty will be ZSJ and Danielson. And I think he's going to tap Danielson. And that's going to be ZSJ. You know what I mean? I think that's the plan. And it's a good plan. I'm not saying Gato had all this plan the entire way, but it looks like it's all going to work out.
They're 1-1, right?
Yeah, they're 1-1.
Okay, yeah.
That's why they want their next match to be 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, and then neither guy has like tapped the other one. That's been the whole thing. I think ZSJ is gonna tap Danielson. That's what I think is gonna happen, and that'll set him up. And like you said, King of Pro Wrestling looks good. It looks like they have a plan going forward. I'm excited about New Japan. And very low key, although I was really low on them at the beginning of the year, I think from the G1 on, they kind of pulled together a string of it's a good company. It'll never be what it was in the peak. The peak is just something totally just we've never seen before, and we'll probably never see again. But from like I would say all the way until the pandemic, that was like the greatest pro wrestling we've ever seen. And it'll never get back there, but at least now I think it's a promotion worth following. Excited about Stardom. Hadn't watched the pay-per-view from a couple nights ago. I did watch Tony Storm and Mayu Iwatani. That was great. And I'm excited about Puro in general, man. Everything going on with All Japan with Yuma Enzai and all of that stuff. It all looks great. And I know a few months ago I came on here and was like, man, I'm really sad about the state of things in Japan. But you know what? I feel much better now. I think that all we need is to get big matches and to get people in buildings now, because the booking is now focused again. I think Japanese wrestling might be back in a couple of years. I think it might be back.
We'll see.
Well,
We'll see.
And we'll be back at some point.
No one has anything else to say. Is that the end? Everyone's good.
I thought he was gonna play the video, and he was like,
I was waiting on somebody to stop me. Nobody gonna stop me.
We ain't stopped. Darby Allin's on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
2 weeks.
Excuse me?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.